Hey, welcome back to the Nets, your one-stop channel for unbiased views, games, analysis, scores, transfers. Before we go anywhere, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That will help me a lot. So, quite a few things happening in the world of cricket right now. We know no big games are being played. The PSL has reached the knockout stages and the finals. But um, going to the internationals, um, Indian team has landed in Australia. They have cleared the COVID protocols, made sure everyone tests negative before they start playing the game. So that is something. The practice sessions have begun. So that is something that is definitely something good. That's to look forward to. The first game happens 10 days from now. 26th of November is the first T20. Definitely something to look forward to. Um, in the other news, the West Indies team for the tour of New Zealand has been announced. Roston Chase got promoted as a vice captain this time around, so that's something again amazing to look forward to. New talent coming up the ranks, that's always nice. As it goes to New Zealand, New Zealand has decided to give a chance to Devon Conway and Kyle Jameson. Kyle Jameson is the same guy who had taken 4 wickets against India in the Wellington Test match. He had also scored 44, I think, odd against India in that Test match. So, again, a fast, brisky bowler that is someone to keep an eye out for. It will be a fun series. Devon Conway is coming into a 25-year-old kid coming into the shorter version of the game, considering he has the ability to hit the ball hard. Um, he is, I think, New Zealand is keeping an eye on the upcoming shorter format World Cups in the upcoming next 2 years. So I think that is where we see a new talent like Devin Conway getting his first chance. They will be without Trent Boult and Williamson, so that is a big loss. But I think they have been rested considering they would like to be used now that the World Test Championship rules are changing. New Zealand have a fair shot at getting there. So I think Kane Williamson and Trent Bolt are resting with the intent that they will be performing full cylinder, going out all cylinders against West Indies in the Test Championship. Speaking of which, now that the rules have changed for the World Test Championships, what they have done is the winning percentage. So that puts a team like India into uh, Australia got, because of this switch, Australia suddenly gets the number one rank and India goes to number two. Considering the number of matches that you have, the percentage of matches that you have won is what will get you into the first and the second ranks. So based on that, New Zealand now suddenly have an amazing chance of making it to the first or the second position. So as we all know, the first and the second position is what matters. They will be playing that final game in England, and considering all the COVID restrictions, there was a talk of just scraping the whole tournament away, but they didn't do that. They decided let's just try to make the most of it and see what can be done with the games that have already been played. There was also some talks about the games that couldn't have happened being split between the two teams, but then that was not really well taken by the committee. So this is the plan B that they have taken, that the teams that have a higher winning percentage gets a chance to play the finals in England. Again, a good thing in a sense, but teams that have played more number of test matches and have drawn don't really get a fair chance in in playing that game. So let's hope whatever it happens for the best. So let's just hope that this works out well. I speak strictly from the intent of Team India, not biased there at all. But besides besides that, there is also talk going on now that the Indian chief selectors are. It's a chance. The first tenure of the Indian chief selectors is almost about to end. There are three vacancies that have been posted by BCCI, and the players that who have applied for that are Ajit Agarkar, Shiv Sundar Das, Maninder Singh, and Chetan Sharma. Again, nice quartet to have that. I think considering all of them have played international cricket, international test cricket, there should be a healthy competition there. So considering all the protocols that have been put in place by Indian selectors, I think um, whoever the selection committee comes in, it will be easy for them to overlook the zonal bias that was there 10 or 12 years back. So let's just hope the best guy manages to get his place into the selection team committee for India. And the other big massive thing that the world is keeping an eye out for are the rise in the COVID numbers. So Cricket Australia had come to the point that they said that maybe the team that was playing in New South Wales could be airlifted considering the numbers. There was a massive surge in and around New Zealand, in and around New South Wales in Australia. So they didn't want to jeopardize the health of any of the players and they wanted to airlift some of them just to make sure that there are no further disruptions. And this is a big news in Australia, considering Australia was the first country to have decided that let's just open the grounds for spectators at 50% capacity, and that may eventually go all the way up to 75% in the test match in Gabba. So that for me would probably those numbers might change in the upcoming days. And also the fact that Virat Kohli is not being a part of that, that just shows you the kind of brand name Virat Kohli is, that it's going to cost Cricket Australia and the broadcasters close to $1 million just by missing out on the name Virat Kohli from the Indian squad. So again, I'm pretty sure health restrictions would take precedence over the number of tickets being sold. So I'm hoping that whatever decision is made is taken care of with the health and the health and well-being of not just the players but the spectators as well. The election of the new ICC chairman, even that is out there for grabs. I know there were two primary contestants, Imran Khwaja and Greg Barclay. So interesting, interesting agendas these guys bring in. So Imran Khwaja is of the mindset that there should be an extra ICC event on an annual basis. And Greg Barclay, on the other hand, wants to promote or push more bilateral. Each of them comes in with a different mindset, and it's going to cost. If you look at it, the extra ICC event actually benefits pretty much all the countries across the border. The bilateral series, on the other hand, picks and chooses which countries do get benefited. So I think more people might lean towards that extra ICC event. But then again, we do not know with the current COVID restrictions what happens out there. England tour of Pakistan, that was another big thing, but that has been postponed till the end of 2021. Hopefully, there is a vaccine out there by then, and that tour happens as well. It's out there, so maybe that happens after the World Cup. And the last thing that has happened, and that is pretty massive in the world of cricket, is the rules that are being proposed to be changed to change in the Big Bash. So the three major rules that may change is the first one is the power surge, as they call it. The power surge is where the batting team gets a mandatory power play of the first 4 overs, not 6 overs anymore, just 4 overs. And then the batting team decides to pick another 2 over power play between 11th and 20th over. So now, if you think about it, it changes everything. Like a bowler, you will have to save the bowling of your primary bowlers at least 1 over into those two mandatory overs. So if you think about it in simple terms, somebody like Jasprit Bumrah, who usually gets away with 1 or 2 overs in the first power play in the first 6 overs, now has to save 1 over just for this mandatory power play. And they can actually, considering there is somebody like Jasprit Bumrah sitting in the back with 3 or 4 overs left, they can delay it to the point where Jasprit Bumrah does not even get a chance to finish his quota of 3 overs or 4 overs. considering they just decided to play with it and pushed it all the way till the end. So it's going to play out really well. Let's see how that turns up. The first few games will give us a good idea of what that looks like. The other one was the X Factor, where a team can bring in a substitute after the first 10 overs. So, which means that, and there are some rules around it, that a player should not have bowled more than 1 over and he can be substituted, or if the player has not batted at all, he can be substituted. So, we cannot, earlier when there was a player who had batted and got out for zero, and we knew that he cannot contribute with the ball anymore, he was substituted for an extra bowler. That has gone out of the window now. If you have batted, you cannot be substituted anymore. But if you're coming down the order and you know you are not really that good with the bat, you can be substituted for a better batsman. So again, this is something that can be, this trade-off might be interesting to keep an eye out for, considering we do not really know how this will pan out in the first, at least for the first few games. We don't really know how that pans out and how do the captains use it to their advantage. And the last one is, and we had talked about it back in the days when the IPL was on, that it will be a lot more interesting if we get rid of the run rate and we start introducing the bonus point. Now, the fun with the bonus point is the teams will be compared at the halfway mark. If both teams are equal, then they get the bonus point is split between those two teams. So let's say Mumbai Indians is playing Delhi Capitals and both of the teams scored 60 for 1 in 10 overs, the point gets split. If Mumbai is 60 for 1 and Delhi was 60 for 2, Mumbai gets that extra point. Or if Mumbai is 60 for 1 and Delhi is 70 for 1, Delhi gets that point. So this is again interesting, considering now the tournament goes in deep. You know that you can cover up 5 or 6 extra points with 5 or 6 games in hands, and you can go from 8th all the way to 2nd, 4th, 5th. We don't know. Also, talks going on to increase the number of IPL playing teams from 8 to 10. Gujarat is going to be Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad will have a team. That is what the news is. There is also a possibility of one more city having its own team. So let's just wait and watch. We have had times when 9 teams have competed for the title. This time it might be 10 teams that come in and compete for the title. The decision might happen by April, I think, March or April. But let's just wait and watch. So I guess that's all that I have. It's been a long video. That's all that I have for this one. Probably see you guys soon here. But before we go anywhere, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It will help me a lot. And I am also starting a podcast here pretty shortly. So I will keep you guys posted of that as well. Please do continue watching us. Give us a shout out and it will help us a lot. Wherever you guys are, stay healthy, stay safe. Have a good rest of the day and happy Diwali. Thank you.